Now that we have a good grasp of what an arithmetic sequence is and some of the notation that we can use with it, I want to move on to what we're going to call the sum to n terms of a sequence. Here I've got a fairly basic sequence. Okay, this is the odd numbers. We can tell pretty quickly that A in this case is equal to 1, and the common difference is clearly 2. Okay, I could find any odd number by using the Tn formula to find what the 20th or the 30th or the 700th term of this sequence would be. Okay, remember that was A plus n minus 1 lots of D. What we're going to look at now, though, is what we'll call an arithmetic series rather than a sequence. And when we're finding a series, what we're going to do is we're going to actually add up a bunch of terms. So instead of having commas between these terms, we're going to have additions. And with an arithmetic series, we actually have to have a last term. With a sequence, this pattern can go on forever. When we're saying we want to add up some terms, a certain number of terms, we have to specify how many we actually want to add up. So let's say I wanted to add up the first 10 terms. And this is how I write it. The sum of the first 10 terms would mean add up the first 10 terms in this series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So if I was talking about this sum, the first 10 terms, I could note it as S10, and this is 10 terms of the sequence. And we call this a series. Okay, once we change it to a sum, it becomes a series rather than a sequence. I might just write series there and make it a bit clearer. There we go. This is called a series. And the question is, we could just work this out by adding them up one at a time, but that's going to become quite laborious if we had to do, for example, 100. What would the sum of the first 100 odd numbers be? That's going to be a lot of calculation. So the question is there a shortcut? Is there a way of getting the answer to this without having to do the first term plus the second term plus the third term plus the fourth term and so on? And that's really going to save us some time when we have things like 100 terms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, in the next video, I'm going to look at this series, okay? But I'm going to look at it in a general sense. I'm going to use my algebra, and we're going to get a formula to find this sum to any number that we like.